All right. You guys are welcome to today's session. Let me start with an apology. Apologies for the dogs barking in my background, in case if you hear them during anytime during this session. Right. So welcome to today's. This is the final session we'll be having for this series. I don't know, guys. I want to see some confetti, some reactions in the chat. So if you are watching us from YouTube, if you are watching from LinkedIn, kindly drop a reaction. Congratulate yourself, celebrate yourself in the comments, everyone. We have about how many people live with us. Celebrate yourself because it's not easy. I mean, we've gone. This is the 8th week. For 8 weeks now, we've been showing up here, having lessons every Saturday. It's not easy. Celebrate yourself. Today is last session, and on today's session, we'll be talking about day-to-day realities of NodeOps. And that's why last week I said that today's session is the most important session of this whole NodeOps Syndicate series, and everybody should be here. So that being said, if you know anybody that should be here that is not here yet, please share this video with them. If you know somebody that is interested in NodeOps or just want to know what it is to be a NodeOps engineer, I mean, even if they are not part of this session, they are not part of this series, they did not join this cohort, please still share this link with them. So share on your Twitter, share on your WhatsApp, share on your LinkedIn, share everywhere so that people can come and learn. At least they should come and learn and understand what it means to be the NodeOps guy. Yeah. And then what's a NodeOps person do on a daily basis. Yeah, Obasoro, thank you so much. So, guys, are you sharing the link? When you share the link, please comment so I can thank you. All right. So, today is the last session. Obasoro, thank you so much. You learned a lot about blockchain. Someone is missing here. Someone is missing in the comments. Akim, you're welcome. Pop Kwasu, you're welcome. All right, so we'll be getting into what we have for the day, which is day to day of a NodeOps engineer. Um, Let me do a quick check-in with our speaker for today to know if he is ready. He will be coming on stage very soon. My chief, are you ready, sir? Kingsley, where are you? Yes, Kingsley is the person I'm looking for. Where is Kingsley, guys? I've not seen Kingsley. I mean, I feel like we should not start without Kingsley. Guys,
Interesting.
people should look for Kingsley. We'll call him. Is he okay? Is he good? Kingsley. I mean, let me check on the group. Maybe someone knows why he's not there.
Okay. Okay. Hi. Oshos, am I audible?
Yes, you're audible. Very audible.
I'm
All
trying to
right.
see if I share my screen or I should quickly download the slides and upload that.
Which
Um,
one? Anyone that will work better? Okay, I'm seeing more people are joining the live. Guys, keep sharing till we get more people join. Go to your LinkedIn, click share, repost, go to your YouTube, copy the link and share on your WhatsApp status, on your Twitter, so we can have more people join us. So, my boss, which one works best for you?
e- I'm still thinking about it. I'm gonna try to upload the slides here so we just have the backup. Thank you everyone for coming today. Today is the last session. If you've actually been attending, then I want to say a big thank you. You've made it all the way to today. to become a NodeOps guy. You've learned a lot about blockchain, how it works. Um, in fact, you've learned ZK, you've learned transactions, you've learned almost everything you need to learn. So for most of the guys who I see here, Kunle, Popkwaso, Akim, we see you guys at Kingsley most especially. We see you guys every week, and we want to thank you for that. And then we're saying you already know a lot about blockchain. Um, let me share my slides. Okay, I think my slides have been shared already. If you can see my slides, Precious, can you see my slides? If you can see my slide, please.
Very well. I can see your slide.
Okay.
All right, but I will need to go backstage. So you, yeah, good.
All right. Um, give me give me a few seconds to check one last thing. Uh, I mean, it's the day when we want to do demos. That's when some things go wrong with the demo. Uh, yes. So I'm saying, if you've made it to this point, I want to say a big thank you for attending the NodeOps Syndicate. The idea is to make you guys NodeOps engineers. We found out that there's a gap in this thing, in this industry, or in this niche of an industry, and we believe uh, we need more people to become NodeOps engineers, like do NodeOps. If you have DevOps experience, you already have a lot of advantage. You just need to know blockchain and you're good to go. If you have the Web3 blockchain experience, you are not a DevOps guy. I will probably have another like session for just for Web3 guys, but you would also have an advantage because you understand the blockchain side of things already. We already know what NodeOps is. Today we are going to talk about the day-to-day realities, like what is this NodeOps? Like, how is it once you wake up in the morning? What are you doing? What are you thinking about? What problems are you solving? Right. So that's what we're going to do today, and we would try to do a demo, right? Even if my machine is kind of like acting up 9 minutes, but we'll try to do a demo. Yeah. So from Genesis to Sync, what exactly are we talking about? Right. What is from Genesis to Sync? In my table of content, in which I'm still going to edit because I added new slides 9 minutes. We'll talk about the node operation buzzwords. That will be the last thing we'll talk about. It's not supposed to be on number one. If I'm too fast, you can just, indicate. Um, we'll talk about the tools of the trades. What do we do? What do we use to do node ops? That would also be like second to the last. It's not supposed to be on number two. We'll talk about the job description and what to expect. We'll talk about nodes, node types, node infrastructure. We'll talk about how to set up a blockchain node, which is how to determine the minimum number of nodes that should be in a network. We'll talk about execution, consensus, and validator clients. Very, very important. They will try to do a live demo. That live demo, God will help us. Um, but I'll give you something very solid you can go and munch on. Yeah. So what are we talking about from Genesis to Sync? Node in blockchain node operation. So this is the idea. Genesis is kind of like we know, like we said in some classes before, a blockchain is a ledger, is a distributed ledger. Imagine an Excel spreadsheet in different computers around the world. All the data they are synced, right? So the thing is, with blockchain, you can't really you have multiple sources of truth. You just don't have, okay, there's one machine somewhere who has like the entire state of the blockchain and knows everything, and that machine can now dictate how the blockchain should go. That negates the idea of decentralization, right? So a blockchain is a distributed ledger, meaning decentralized Excel spreadsheets in different computers or machines around the world, right? So once the blockchain or whatever blockchain you're working on is initiated, right? That beginning is what they call the genesis, right? So it's the genesis of maybe where I work at Supra, a Supra blockchain is the genesis of a local network, DevNet, just 7 nodes. Genesis is just when the network or the blockchain, yes, when that network goes live and the binary inside of it starts taking data, right? That's the genesis. And the idea of node operation in a blockchain network is to create that super majority, meaning like there are lots of machines running these nodes at the same time and all the data are synced. All single machines should have the same data, right? Once we are writing something to a machine, the other machine also has the same data that is being written. Do you understand? So in blockchain node operation, or for you to have a lot of nodes that you are operating, the idea, your goal in the end, your goal, your final journey is to make sure all the machines are synced. Whether it's a large scale network like a Supra network or an Ethereum network or a Bitcoin network or Polygon network or Base network, whatever it is, once the genesis are started and you have different machines sharing the same data, the goal is they must sync with minimum downtime. And that minimum downtime in Web3, in this sense, is can be classified as what should I call it? Can be classified as the super majority of the network, meaning you must have more people running the node to keep it stable. I'm talking too much, but you get the point. That's the goal. You're starting from Genesis when you create the network, set it up, and then sync every single thing. Is every decentralized node or whatever node in the network is synced. Yes, this is a very sweet, very sweet chart or image. One of the most sweetest, in fact, this is the sweetest image that you should see in blockchain when it comes to like foundational knowledge. Now, in Web 2 was mostly a centralized um, protocol, right? You have a Facebook who has everybody's data and can determine whatever is going to happen in your life in terms of Facebook. You have a LinkedIn who also has they have their own machines and they handle all the data. That's what you call um, decentralized network. All machines are connected to a specific point, right? One aggregator. Decentralization was what Web3 came for. Those were one of those things. In fact, it's a pillar of Web3, decentralization. I'm sure most of my audience or the audience here already know what this is, but I'm just going to say it again. It's just distributed machines, like splitting ownership. Yes, splitting ownership, and that's what the second network image is showing. Like the way the nodes are and networked. Everybody's networked, right? In this decentralization, everybody's actually networked, but there's no single point of failure. In centralization, if I remove that middle where everybody's coming to, if I remove it, the entire network will crash. And you can't have that with blockchain, with decentralization, a decentralized network, right? Because it is decentralized. So there's no single point of failure, right? The super majority determines the state of that network. I don't know if I'm audible. If I'm audible, please let me know. If I'm talking too fast, just give me some kind of like feedback. If it's too high level, let me know. So distributed networks. As a blockchain engineer, let me do this because this is not showing. Okay, it's showing like this. Should I just do this? Yep, this works. So in terms of distributed networks, which is also similar to uh, the okay. Yes, I am. Shay Idewu says yes. Yes, you are. Like I am too fast, right? or something. Just give me feedback. So with distributed networks, is also similar to decentralized networks, but the thing with what is similar is that there's no single point of failure, right? But with decentralized distributed network, everything is actually connected. Like every single point is connected to another node, um, right? And as DevOps engineers, you already know what a distributed network is. You're doing microservices, right? That's a classic example of what that distributed network most likely means. So like I said earlier, this is very sweet because it gives us like different paradigms of the internet, right? Centralized Web 2, Web 3 was decentralized, and distributed seems to be like both for Web 2 and Web 3. Okay, Jimmy Bill says I am audible. Thank you. Right. So now this is another very interesting one too. Is less sweeter than the previous one, or less interesting. But it might be interesting to some people because it has a lot of colors and things. So the left hand side is Web 2, a centralized server that is connected to the internet, and you have clients which are phones and laptops connecting to that server. Right. If any party, okay, if anything happens to that centralized server, the client, the user would not get any data from that server from through the internet, right? That's what before is saying. Decentralized internet, what we have, Web 3 blockchain, um, it is there's no one server. There are lots of servers everywhere, but they're all connected. And the clients, which is the phones, the laptop, the devices, can connect to the closest. Depends on how you do load balancing and all of that. You can do a geo load balancing. DevOps guys, I'm speaking to you. Uh, Geo load balancing, right? And that means the clients can connect to the closest server or decentralized database close to them. Right. So explain that. Now, am I jumping too fast? Sparks. Okay. Okay. No, this is fine. Now, some of the things you expect is in this job is that you can wake up one morning and you'll be asked to set up a DevNet network or a network that supports EVM or a network that um, just set up a network, right? And there are some fundamental principles, right? The first thing as a DevOps guy you do is to create the infrastructure, right? And before you create the infrastructure, you need to know this, right? You can't just create you can't just create a VPC and just create um, decentralized machines and say, okay, this one is in the US, this one is in the UK, this one is in US East one, this one is in EU Central 5. I'm just saying regions, right? And that's all. No, you need to be more conscious about this. And there is a there is a 2F+1 rule, right? When I started blockchain, we're told things like um, Byzantine fault tolerance. I didn't know what it was. These are like consensus mechanisms. I'm sure. I think I'm actually talked about it. Proof of stake, proof of work, um, proof of this, proof of that. Like proof of stake, proof of work are the popular ones, and then Byzantine fault tolerance is part of the consensus mechanism. When I learned about these things earlier, I didn't know the importance until I started doing NodeOps. That was when I now knew what Byzantine fault tolerance was and why it is important. Byzantine fault tolerance is actually what determines the super majority of a network, right? So it's a 2F+1. I'm just going to read what's there. To tolerate up to F faulty or malicious nodes, meaning you have to have it in mind that look, if this network goes down, it's going to be very, very well resilient. I mean, that's the word. It has to be very resilient. and and um, you need to think about malicious nodes or faulty nodes. You need to think about it, that there's probably going to be that, and that's the F factor there, right? So a network must have at least two F plus one, right? Two F plus one.
Yes, I think Ukeme had a little problem, so he'll be joining back. But then, if you are following the session, can you please drop a comment? Is Kingsley here? Okay, is Kingsley finally here? All right, Kingsley, so good to finally see you. So good to finally see you. It's been like we almost didn't start the session because we were waiting for you. Okay, okay. All right, so Kama will be joining us back very soon. Oh yeah, Zikora, welcome back, man. Right. Okay. I can see that more people have joined the session. You all are welcome. Byzantine false tolerance. I was actually enjoying this session. Those leaving the session should come back. Oh, those leaving the session should. Yeah, the slide will be shared on the slide will be shared on the. Yeah, okay, it's back. The slide will be shared on WhatsApp. Just request for it on WhatsApp and you will get it. Welcome back, okay, man.
Oh my. Sorry, guys. The Nigerian factor struck again. Um, so I'm sure you must have already read this. I'm so sorry about that. Uh, so for example, for f equals to tolerating two faulty nodes, you need at least three f plus one equals to 7, meaning the network should be 7 if you want to accommodate two faulty nodes, right? So the super majority there will be 5, which is what we're talking about here, right? So that's 2 over 3. Um, why? Because the consensus algorithms, yes, require supermajority 2 over 3 um, for the network to agree to commit blocks, right? Um, That's why it's called blockchain, because they're actual blocks of information, right? Chained to each other. And you will see all of that. And this blockchain itself is basically just a log. These are logs. That's the blockchain. Let me show you. I'm going to skip to the end and just show you what a typical blockchain from the node side of things. This is blockchain. This is it. And the blocks are basically for you, they are written as logs. Right, we'll come back to that. So let's just continue. And so once you've done this math, I now know that for that, if I want to tolerate two faulty nodes, I need 7 nodes in my network. So I'm going to deploy 7 7 nodes using Terraform, or people are using there's this new one now. We're talking about it in DevOps Story Group, Pulumi, right? I've not used Pulumi that much, but I'm gonna do some experimentation on that. So types of blockchain nodes, right? So there are different types of blockchain nodes depending on what you want to use. But the most important ones in all of this, right? That okay, the thing you should know as per first principles is foundation full nodes, right? Full nodes, RPC nodes, and validator nodes. Full nodes, RPC nodes, and validator nodes. In fact, validator and RPC nodes are, if they say create a blockchain network, that's what you're doing. With this thing now, for a simple DevNet network tolerating two faulty nodes, in this 7, I'm going to deploy 7 validator nodes. These nodes will be validator nodes, right? I'll tell you why in a bit. And then I'm going to deploy 2 RPC nodes, making everything 9 nodes. The RPC nodes per se is part of the network, right? It's part of the network, but it doesn't propose, it doesn't really participate in what's going on in the blockchain. There is just a relayer, right? I'll explain that in a bit, right? So we have 9 nodes, and we call that DevNet. 2 RPC. Why do I need 2 RPCs? In a typical scenario in your company, in a typical scenario, you would have 1 RPC actually giving you faucets. You know what faucet means? Like tokens of the native blockchain. Like for example, Ethereum, you need to mint ETH. You need to have some ETH, right? So you get that using like some faucet service. Okay. You get that using some faucet service, right? So one of these RPC will be running your faucets, the other RPC will be running other transactions, other calls, the other one does faucets. And it's basically just a settings to make to indicate that this particular node is a faucet RPC node is just settings. They're just adding some extra settings, right? So a full node stores the complete history of the blockchain, right? Every single thing. These full nodes are very heavy. You can see a full node of about how many terabytes? 25 terabytes, 50 terabytes, 100 terabytes. I think our own now, a full node is around like 1.5 terabytes. That was when I now knew some things about archival node. I didn't know what archival. I studied it in blockchain, but I didn't really know the practical use case until now, right? Like full nodes, they're like full nodes, but store all historical states changes every intermediate account balance, right? So that's what the archive node does. Um, so in some cases, your storage can be so heavy because let's say every 30 minutes or every 15 minutes is going to do some is going to do or some a few seconds every second is going to do some transaction, get some data, add it to the block, is going to download that data in your storage. So every second your storage is increasing, and it's very easy for it to get to 1 terabyte because you're getting data every day. That's when you now have to start using snapshots. I didn't even know what snapshots were as in where I didn't know the importance of snapshots until when we found out that the storage was getting filled up really fast. So we need to take a state of that node and upload it. And if you want to catch up to the blockchain, you can basically just download that state. Right. So they are light nodes. This is just very light, and they are both seed nodes. You can do some research on that. But I just told you how it really works, like in the field. That it really happens. You spin up a machine, and the you are just starting from Genesis, and the blockchain has already gone to like God knows how far it has gone, right? So you need to then download a snapshot to catch up to it. Um, Execution clients. These are now clients are like the software that runs inside of the nodes, right? A node is actually a software. A node is not a machine. Before, I thought a node is a machine, but in blockchain terms, a node is not a machine. A node is a software that is running clients. Okay, someone said I should increase the tone of your voice. Is a bit low. Wow, wow, wow. Okay. Is my voice louder now? Please let me know. Yeah. So execution clients are actually the nodes themselves. They are the softwares that run inside machines. Machines easy to your kind of you know what the machines are. Um could be bare metal in your house, right? It could be in the cloud, it could be anywhere, right? So the execution clients process transactions and smart contracts. So the blockchain, what you call software, like backend software in blockchain is smart contracts, right? Smart contracts is the backend of the blockchain. Some guys write like protocol. There's some guys who are protocol engineers who actually build these clients, the consensus, the validators, they write all those things. And then there are developers. When you say someone is a Web3 developer, he writes smart contracts, right? So these smart contracts, they are programmed to do some things, and then they send data as transactions to the blockchain, updates the blockchain state, right? So, and the execution client maintains EVM state and provide a JSON RPC. The consensus client maintains the beacon chain, handle finality, attestations, and validator orchestration. This is a lot of English, and that's why I said we need to have a lot of blockchain talk before we can even start to do NodeOps. That's why we had 7 weeks of like talking about blockchain. Um, you can do your research on this, but this basically just means that people who are is like just is just handling like coordinating how all the nodes are getting into agreements and finalizing transactions and blocks. That's what this guy does. Is like an engine room. And then the validator client stores validator keys, performs validator duties by signing blocks and attestations. If you use a wallet, right, and you want to make a transaction with your wallet, it's going to ask you to sign, right? You're going to use validator and consensus keys to sign these things. This validator guy does some of those things. Um, what are the examples? There's Prism, there's Lord, there's Nimbus. I'm just mentioning names, but these guys are very popular in the Ethereum space, especially Nimbus, right? Very popular. They act as consensus clients. They are softwares, right? Validator clients, this is very important. Actually, I've worked for Nethermind, and in the DevOps department, I'm going to share the link. Nethermind has an internship they do, right? And they pay, I'm just saying, no, they should not come and catch me, but they pay 1K dollars for interns, right? $1,000 per month for interns. And I'd like you guys to apply. Um, if my voice is too low, please still let me know. And I'd like you guys to apply because in the blockchain department at Nethermind, they do all these things I'm talking about. You might not be assigned to handle nodes because you are a lot about blockchain. And Nethermind is a validator client, and they do a lot more other things. Go Eth is written with Go Ethereum. This is with Rust Eth, and Java is Besu. These are validator clients. Okay, so what's like a typical day? How does it feel like? Um, on the left hand side is some of my tax. I just hope my company doesn't come for me. I had to even close some things. But anyways, this on the left hand side is a list of tax that you probably will be getting. Precious, are you there? Is Precious here? Precious, you're on mute.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Am I audible? Like, is my voice low or
Yeah,
high
yeah,
or what?
you're audible. Just that your voice can be low sometimes. I don't know if you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I
Okay.
think it's just the way you talk, anyways. Sure. I think go
Okay.
on. We can hear you. Yeah, your voice is
All right.
just
Thank you.
not so loud.
But it's moderate. Is it?
Yeah, but if you can increase it a little bit so that Pamela can hear.
Someone say Shay says I'm very audible. Just gonna announce that. Yeah. Thank you, Shay. So yeah. So what's the job description? You wake up in the morning and you have a ticket to upgrade or support an external company or an external node operator who is running your company's node. You have to assist them with their RPC. It has crashed. The validator is out of sync. You will hear that a lot. That word out of sync every day. In fact, it can once you hear out of sync and you're sleeping, you might not be. It's just going to feel like a nightmare sometimes because you have to go back and sync that node. Yes, so you support external node operators. You probably have a network called automation net. We have a network like that. You have to reconfigure the network from scratch using a specific release tag. The release tag is also a client. That's the software, the blockchain software. Uh, okay, I think I went out for a bit. Yeah. So create an extra RPC node for a faucet. In some cases, you can have a lot of faucet RPC nodes, but you need more transactional nodes than like nodes running other transactions than just you need more of that than faucet nodes, right? So in some cases, they can say, okay, in this 7 node network, we're trying to experiment or something, deploy 2 faucet nodes or 5 extra faucet nodes and let's say um, eight other transactional nodes for a blockchain, for a network of, let's say, your test net. Your test net actually might probably have like some 60 to 80 machines or 100 machines or more. The more the better. But there's a specific number you need to have to reach super majority, right? So the network doesn't fail, or we don't have people's nodes getting out of sync. Ethereum virtual machine is what we call EVM. You hear that a lot. Um, the list is there. Rename current DevNet machines to staging net, destroy a previous EVM QA net machine network, um, deploy new DevNets with 7 validator nodes. You have a different product called Dora 2. I have to work on their machines, decommission 3 machines, temporarily suspend new 4 machines. Things like this is what you see. Um, Creating networks, managing them, and supporting node operation, external node operators. You can have people like Binance, Bybit, Base. In fact, big companies can actually be have your own nodes running, so they can also make money. There's the money side of things. I don't know much about the money side of these things. All right, I run a testnet node, and I don't think I've made any real money, but people are making money. It's a long-term investment. I don't know about that part. I know about the technical part. In some cases, you might deploy a yes. So majorly, you deploy multi-regional infrastructure. You set up, configure blockchain nodes, manage blockchain nodes, and every other thing you do in DevOps. Every other thing you do in DevOps matters. That's why I said if you have, that's why it's called NodeOps. You have DevOps experience, and then you add the blockchain side of it. All right. Um, so these are tools of the trade. On the first line there, you have Besu, Nethermind, Get, Ethereum Get, and my company Supra. These are like blockchain clients and companies, right? And then on the from the second row downwards is like DevOps tools you use every day. And then the ones that are actually um, green, like I put a green box around them, are what I use every day. This is for our company, right? There should be a GCP there, but for our company, this is what I typically would use every day. And a lot of bash scripting and Python, right? You might not know Python, but at least you know some stuff in DevOps. It gives you an edge. But if you know Python, you go very far in terms of automation. Python or bash scripting. In fact, our onboarding scripts, I can't show you, but everything is purely bash scripts, like purely bash scripts. If you want, and it's like change the way because using bash scripts, which is very good, but there's a lot of work there. We can use some Docker Compose to reduce the kind of work. So we're trying to create a different, like modify our architecture to make it easy for people to onboard. Like in fact, you want to spin up a node and it's a super node, that kind of thing. And the Docker knowledge comes in there. The Kubernetes comes in when we try to do like load balancing. That's how we handle it. Load balancing, AJ proxy, Envoy, reverse proxy. We use our Kubernetes to do that. We also use GitHub Actions, which is not here. GitHub Actions automates some stuff, but when we are doing some very complex stuff, I have no reason why. I don't know the reason why we use Jenkins, but we use Jenkins because people say Jenkins is old school. People say it a lot that it's old school, but we still use Jenkins, right? I've seen pipelines with over 25 steps, in fact, 25 stages, close to 50 stages. A very long pipeline. You're automating, you're automating the build part. You're automating testing part, you're automating the infrastructure part, you're automating the configuration part, so is a lot, and it's a very interesting job actually, very interesting and lucrative. Right. So these are the things I use, the green ones. Um, I don't really do much of monitoring as a DevOps guy. Eventually, if you work for a standard company or a NodeOps guy, you won't be doing everything. You can't do everything. There's a lot of work, so you might probably have to specialize. So I know some monitoring, but I don't really do monitoring. That's not my role, right? More of the infrastructure automation guy. Yes. So here now, this is Earthpiler. I want us to do a demo, right? This is Earthpiler. This is what we are going to do. This is what we are going to deploy. I'm going to send you my screen. Let me share my screen from here. We don't have time, but this is where things get really juicy. Okay. Yep. Do you guys know? Do you guys know this browser, Arc browser? I think you should be using Arc. So let me send this. It's called Earthpiler. So Earthpiler is like it's it's just so sad that, hold on. This node, this is my Holesky testnet, Ethereum node has been running for a very long time. So yesterday I thought about changing some things and trying to SSH into that node. Um, Very important. So if you want to deploy an Ethereum node, follow this link. It's very simple. Very, very simple. But you need, okay, the internship with, yes, let me show you. So someone actually asked about the internship. So let me just show you why I'm doing that. That is Nethermind. Nope. Let's use this. Nethermind internship. So you'll be earning in dollars, which is sweet, even as an intern. I want to let's see positions. But this is because I want you guys to gain. I want you to gain. Yep. So this is it. You can apply to join the infrastructure team. I think they changed a lot of things. Yes. Okay, this is a term infrastructure. Well, anyways, let me share this link with you. Wait. I don't mind internship application link. Oh, I think they changed things, so they've changed it. But anyways, you can apply to join the infrastructure team. I'm just going to send that link here and then research. Yep. Um. Yeah. So let's get back to Earthpilot. So Earthpilot is a tool, is a one-liner setup tool you can use to, it's kind of like a TUI, terminal user interface. You can use to set up an Ethereum node. It's not so easy, but this is the one liner. You just copy it and paste it in your bash machine. Yes, so there is also a prerequisite. Yes, disclaimer, actual disclaimer. Um, Blockchain nodes are not cheap. They are not cheap. Your blockchain node should be running at least 1 terabyte of storage, and it should also, depending, but I think at least an 8 gig RAM would do. But for better performance, 16 and 32 gig RAM would be perfect with a very high clock speed. These machines are not cheap, right? They are not cheap. But if you have an opportunity to practicalize for just 1 day, maybe with an AWS, and just use it for 1 day and just play around with this thing. I'm going to send you, you can Google Earthpilot, right? And then find this link. And I'm also going to post it there so you can follow along. We are almost running out of time. Precious, please come in and let me know if my time is up. Yeah, go to this link and read up on Earthpilot, right? So this is how it looks like. This machine, what's the problem? My, I don't want to do this. I have no idea why I can't sign into my machine, and I don't want to. I don't want to change anything in that server side. Could be the network. But anyways, I'm just going to show you here. Um, so this is how it looks like once you run that one liner: execution client, consensus client, validator client. And you can just follow these, you can just follow the documentation to set it up, right? Not this, but just follow, this is the prerequisites, right? You need to run on Ubuntu 24 or Ubuntu 22 also works. This is the line, or you want to manually do it as a DevOps, sudo apt-get, app updates, install these things. Copy, paste it in the machine. Copy this to paste it in the machine. Is going. This is what it's going to do. It's going to create a folder called Earthpilot. It's going to clone the repo inside of it. Let's even check this repo, which is very interesting. As a DevOps guy, you should be licking your lips now because it's getting very interesting. So, looking at this, let me even post that repo too. So, in case you want to, is there any? So someone is asking. So, is there any book more that's? Wait, is there any book that's more? We'll come back to questions. I think I also have 3 minutes, right, before you start posting questions. As a DevOps guy, you'll be very excited to see this repo. Right? This repo is Earthpilot. How it works, it's open source, so you can come here and damage this thing and experiment and change the interface and do whatever you want, because why? Is written, everything here is either Python or bash script or some YAML files, which is what you use as a DevOps guy every day. Let's look at this Earthpilot. You can look at this code and you'll be so excited that they made this open source. This is just bash scripting. Very simple for you. Um, for some of the clients, like I said, this script is deploying Nimbus and Nethermind. Um, it's just Python's variables declared, if else statements, very simple stuff. You can, so if I shared it, so you can just check the repo, right? I built something. Okay, we'll come back to questions. Let me just quickly finish up here. So if you're not interested with this code, meaning you don't want to break things or experiment with it, just use Earthpiler, follow these instructions. The next thing here is manual installation. Um, yeah, just follow this. It's going to, you will set it up in a few minutes, right? It creates, it clones the repo. It then creates some kind of like alias for this. So you can just call Earthpiler and it's going to run. So use this to set up. It's so sad. I wanted to actually show you guys. I can't SSH into my machine, so I'm going to do a different video for that. I wanted to show you, where are my slides? Where are my slides? Oh my, precious, where are my slides? That last page in my slide, I have to from the back
I
end.
think you have to import it again. You will have to import it again.
Uh,
Yeah.
okay, I got it. I got it. Yeah. So um we're wrapping up now. Then we go to questions. I want to show you guys this thing. This is very interesting. This is running the Nimbus client. This is running the execution client, never mind. This is running the validator client, and they're doing all those things I mentioned earlier. If you check the logs, you will see it syncing. You will see what they are doing. You will see connecting to peers. Do you understand? And then this top right here, it looks very scary, but as a DevOps guy, you need something like that. This is kind of like a monitoring tool, right? So it checks the threads running in your machine. It tells you the memory, how good is your RAM doing, use, how many cores, what's taking, what's hot. This is just a monitoring section on the top right corner, right? Top left does the consensus client. The lower left is doing the execution client, which is Nethermind. The lower right is doing the validator clients, right? So these are clients, and this is how Earthpiler actually looks. It's going to sync, right? So there are other things, technical things like the ports, like ports, mapping, binding addresses, those things you will get to know as soon as you start playing around with that Earthpiler. Once you play around, I want you to play around with Earthpiler. I want you to play around with it. You see some things and you come back and ask questions. So the buzzwords, what will you be hearing every day at work? In fact, you can't go a day at work without hearing or seeing any of these things here. There's a lot of them, but these ones, you must hear it every day. Decentralization, I think I mentioned that more than 50 times today. Airport slots, rounds, um, proposals. I can't go into them because of time, but I'm going to share this slide with you guys. So Precious, I'm done. I see people have a lot of career questions. And anything you want to know about this job, I'm there for you. Precious.
You guys, you have it now. Now, so ask all your questions. Boss Ukeme is here, and he has just 10 minutes. Oh. He has just 10 minutes. This is 5602. He has just 10 minutes. Is there a book? Is there any book that talk more on NodeOps? I believe that's what this person wants to ask. Shay,
Yeah, yeah. So to be very honest, you can go online and search NodeOps. You find out that there isn't much about this thing. Only a few people know it, and there's opportunity, and that's why we are doing this. We're creating the not the content for NodeOps, right? You won't see much. I don't think I know a book that is written for NodeOps, but you can check. If you see anyone, do let me know. So my job would probably one of my mission would probably mean be to create proper videos on how to do this or write a book on this thing. Please help us with internships in blockchain. Yes. So let me share my screen again. Like I sent earlier, I sent wait, let me internship in blockchain is the question I'm talking about. So I sent Nethermind internship earlier. So you can apply for Nethermind internship. The cheat code there is to let me show you. This video has everything. Use this video to like tailor your CV and what you go and say there. Because they told you they mentioned exactly what they are looking for: DevOps and infrastructure team. Questions? Can people click?
Can I click what?
Can people click this link that I posted, like from YouTube? Can they actually? Is the link clickable from
Yeah,
YouTube?
I think it's clickable from YouTube, from the live section.
Yeah, I'm
The
not saying
comments,
from the
live comments.
studio.
So
Like
they will
from
see it.
yeah,
They will see it
yeah.
on the see it on the comments. They will see it in the live comments.
Okay. But anyways, I'm sharing my screen now. So go to YouTube and check Nethermind internship.
Yeah, it's clickable. I just checked. I just confirmed it now. And it's clickable.
And you will see this Joey DevOps, a proper Web3 job internship. You can come here and search, go to remote rocket ships. I use this to get jobs. There's a premium version, but just know that every day at least you will see recent jobs and you can search the site, right? I can come here and search for um, DevOps. So it's DevOps, right? It's DevOps. This is not just NodeOps, but you see Web3 jobs here. And then you can search for entry level and you see stuff here, right? To apply for jobs. Let me send this to the chat. Okay. So the next question is please help us what's needed to add to our CV regarding blockchain roles. So this is what you would do if you want to work with on blockchain roles. Actually, you need to know Ethereum, right? Ethereum there, right? Right. Ethereum basically, right? If you know Solidity, add Solidity. I mean, we took Solidity here. All the things we've been teaching here, just go and check the title. I just put it because that's what you'll be doing. Right? That's what you should add to your CV regarding blockchain rules, and also do projects. There's another project. Let me share my screen again. If you can do this project, you have already started doing NodeOps. So Nethermind Set up Nethermind nodes. Set up Nethermind nodes. There's a documentation. This, yes, so this, follow this documentation to set up a Holesky or a Sepolia testnet. This one you don't need real Ethereum, right? So um, this is the full documentation. If you can do this, put it in your CV, you're good to go. And it's not so hard. It's not so hard. So let me share this. I'm giving you guys gems. So I'm giving you gems. If you can also do Earth Pilot to put it in your CV, you're good to go. Precious, what's the next question?
I'm seeing any other question here. I think it's Habib saying I know of summer internship. Um,
Of
I
Bitcoin
need it.
Bit Trust
Yeah,
invite. You can
trust.
share
Yeah.
the link.
Cause I need internship as soon as to get into
So
NodeOps.
this
I
guy,
have not.
this guy that say you need internship as soon as possible. Akim, you're my guy. Go and apply to Nethermind. If you can qualify for Nethermind, you get the internship. It's not just give me internship. You need to know your onions, know the work, and work on projects. Shay Idowu says, I have done research. I've done research. Your course is the only. Can you see this? That this course that we just started is the only node ops. In fact, it just shows that there is so much opportunity, and I need people to jump on this thing. There is so much in terms of money. Just know it. If you know it, just forget. You are well. You won't be like a Jeff Bezos, but you'll be okay. You'll be okay. Um, is there any other thing? I think that's all. If you have any questions, anything, career, job, just let me know. If there's none, precious, we can call it a day. Precious, are you there? You're on mute.
Yup, yeah, I'm here. We were waiting for them to say something. He said career question now.
Okay.
Anybody with any career question? I was thinking that people will ask. But nobody asked. So I'm guessing that everybody know what they are doing. You know, everybody knows what they are doing. All right. So thank you very much.
Okay, so we've come to the end. We've come to the end of this. It's a good home run, trust me.
Yeah.
It's a very good home run, and I feel we kind of did justice for a first,
For the first season of
yeah, for a
first
first
cohort.
season. Come on, come on. We have mesh. Yes, we are giving out mesh, bro.
Yeah.
Um, so who is here? Okay,
Kingsley.
so I'm going to give three people mesh.
Kingsley, are
Kingsley
you
is
in
not
Lagos?
here. Kingsley didn't send me.
Kingsley joined now.
I'm not sure if Kingsley is on this call.
No, he joined now.
Kingsley didn't send me his address.
Yeah.
He didn't send me his address, so I didn't send him mesh, but I sent mesh to like two people
Okay.
um this week. So Abib, have I given you? No. Abib, Sheyi, and Akim, anywhere in Lagos where you are, send me a DM on WhatsApp. I'll send you a NodeOps t-shirt.
All right. So I think I'm going to ask you like a public. I'm going to put you on stage a little bit. So what's next from here? Cohort is over. So what is next for people in the WhatsApp community? What's next for you and for everybody that participated in the program?
That's a very good question. What's next for the people who participated? Technically, you need to go and deploy a blockchain node. I've given you two blockchain nodes that you should deploy. The next thing is for you to start applying for jobs. I can't help you apply for jobs. Help yourself, but I will try my best to share gems or if I get any information. In terms of the WhatsApp group, it's going to be open for the next 1 week and people can ask questions. Then after that 1 week, we're going to close the group. and all these videos are on YouTube, right? And back and plan. It's going to be bigger than this, way bigger, better than this. But we have to plan so we can execute. Um,
properly. All right.
which
So
is a
please
good
try to
question.
host us once in a while for general discussion. All right.
And also bring Casey and Ayo. Casey and Ayo are very smart guys. We can do fire chats, fireside chat. I mean, that's what they call it. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's a good suggestion. Yeah, so it's just going to be general questions. Just come with any question you have of NodeOps or blockchain, and there'll just be somebody career wise too. There'll be somebody to assist you. I think that's a good one. We would put that question,
All
but we
right.
need.
So thank you very much.
Yeah,
All
precious.
right.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, everyone coming. It's been a long day without you, my
Oh,
friends. It's going
my
to
is
be a
here.
long.
My is here.
Emmanuel said, "Should I send mine?" Yeah, send it on WhatsApp.
Yes. Send your address to me. The first three people who send their address to me, I'm going to ship or dispatch a Node Ops t-shirt to them right now.
Right. You guys should not tell those on WhatsApp. But those on this call, send yours first. Go they tell those on WhatsApp. You go miss out. There are more than 100 people on our WhatsApp group, and only 8 people are here.
Yeah. All right. All right, guys.
Right
Thank
now,
you so much.
guys, enjoy. See you
Yeah.
in the. See you next time. See you on WhatsApp. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bye,
When you
guys.
deploy the node, please do well to share your experience on WhatsApp. Right,
Yeah.
guys.
Share your
Yeah.
experience. If it's possible, write an
Share your experience.
article. That article can even get you a job.
Yeah, write an article about it. Do all those stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right now, enjoy the rest of your day, guys.